Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the HBCU Experience panel. Today, we have a few alumni of a few of our HBCUs here to talk to you all about their experience and some things that you can expect at a HBCU if you decide to go there. So, we're going to start off with introductions. We're going to start off with our Hampton crew. Mr. Williams, can you introduce yourself and let us know what led you to choosing your HBCU?
Okay, hello, my name is Corey Williams. I graduated Hampton in 97, computer science. Um, my class was over 9. We have classes named at Hampton University. I guess we'll explain that later. And what made me decide to go, growing up, my parents both have worked at and attended HBCUs. I lived in North Carolina. Growing up, North Carolina had 11 of them. So it was not like I haven't been exposed to them. Also, a big deciding factor was I loved the show A Different World, and it pretty much made me want to go.
Awesome. So you've had a lot of experience growing up in that community and had the wonderful pleasure, I would say, of having the A Different World show to look at to really show that experience of that campus life and wanting to be a part of it.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. Mr. Nguyen, you're up next.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Jonathan Wynn. I'm a graduate of Hampton University, 92 grad, Quintessence. As Corey related, we have class names. Um, Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, attended Hampton from 88 to 92, so probably before most of you did and way before the internet. What led me to choose Hampton was pretty much, it wasn't my intention to go to HBCUs. I'm the first in my family to go to a four-year institution, and my dreams were to play football at Penn State. Then, like everyone else, I did a college trip, road trip, my senior year in high school. Went to Howard, went to Hampton, and I can't get deep about it. I got to Hampton, spent some time on campus. My best friend was with me. I looked at him. I said, "Ray, I'm home. This is it." It was just a feeling.
So you got that feeling when you went on your college tour and you said, this is where I should be.
This is where I should be. This is where I need to be. I never look back. It was the greatest experience of my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, John. Mr. Jenkins, you're up next.
Hey, okay. I initially didn't want to go to Hampton because I'm what's called a local. I'm actually from that Tidewater area. I wanted to go to school in North Carolina, but my mother really wanted me to go to Hampton. I felt it a lot. Well, I'm glad I did because I had no idea how great of a school that was. I mean, being from that area, it's just part of the landscape. I mean, I grew up basically on Hampton's campus. One of my good friends, he graduated in '88. He was a football player, so I went to all the football games, all the homecomings, all that type of good stuff. It wasn't anything different to me, but actually going, it was a completely different experience. The education was great. The homecomings were off the hook. The parties were off the hook. I mean, it was, I couldn't have asked for a better experience in Rutgers College.
Okay, so it sounds like you really enjoyed your time there, but you needed to be, you had to have some coaxing from your mom. Growing up in that area, you were like, yeah, whatever. I'm here all the time. It's no big deal. But after having really having your student experience, that was a completely different thing from just visiting. And you're very glad that you made that decision.
Absolutely. I couldn't have asked for a better education. I mean, the instructors were top notch. The facilities were great, and I took life experiences that continue to aid me to this day.
Oh, great, great, great. I'm going to ask you some more questions in a bit about those experiences, but thank you so much for sharing. Now we're going to move over to
Oh, I
Mary.
almost I'm over eight.
Oh, he got his shirt on, guys. See, look at that pride just coming through the camera. All right. We're gonna travel north a bit and go up to Bowie State. We have a nice panel here representing Bowie. We're gonna start off with Miss Jahida.
Hello, my name is Jahida Dixon. I decided to go to University of Maryland Eastern Shore for a total reason that all the Hampton folks. I was in the guidance counselor's office one day and UMES was there. And as a way to get out of going to class, I filled out an application and got accepted on the spot. I decided to stay at UMES because of the culture there. It's nothing else to do but to go to school and party. And I've met some of my best friends there. And I'm the first one of my family to go away to college. Other members to the a little less traditional route. So being able to go away for 4 years was something that wasn't common in my family. And it allowed me to go away, to grow up, to have life experiences. And again, like I said, I have lifelong friends that are like my sisters to this day. I decided to go to Bowie because I got employed there. And I said the only way that I was going to go to grad school is if someone else paid for it. And that's exactly what happened. So those are my reasons.
Awesome. So you got that wonderful covenant on-spot acceptance into the Eastern Shore, and you love the experience. You were the first of your class, or not your class, of your family members to actually go away from that. And so you really embraced that experience and enjoyed it, and was able to get your graduate education paid for by being an employee, getting that for free.
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Dixon. Up next, we have Miss Davis.
Greetings and salutations. I am Danielle Davis. I'm a two-time Bowie State University alum, graduated in 2008 and then again in 2019. Bowie State University caught my eye because we are the first HBCU in the state of Maryland. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and raised in St. Mary's County, Maryland. So I wanted to stay somewhat close to home in case I needed to, go home on the weekends and do my laundry and get a home-cooked meal. So I stayed a little bit close to home, but still had an amazing HBCU experience at Bowie State. Due to its affordability, its small class sizes, that personal one-on-one that you definitely get with our experienced professors and teachers. And I was truly involved in a lot, which made my HBCU experience amazing.
Oh, wow. So you said you started from Alaska. I think I haven't heard that one down here in St. Mary's County in a while, but you grew up here in St. Mary's, but you went to Bowie State, so you were close enough to home to get that being close to home experience. You can come home on the weekends and eat with your parents and do some laundry, but far enough away that you really got that campus life experience as well.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Alicia.
Hello, my name is Alicia Whitney, and I graduated from Bowie State University in 1997. I grew up in Waldorf, Maryland, and I definitely wanted to attend a college that wasn't too far away from home. So I chose Bowie State University. And one of the reasons why that was my selection was because I wanted access to a higher education at an affordable price. The professors there definitely supported an atmosphere for learning, and they empowered all students to succeed.
Wonderful. So it sounds like you had some great teachers and staff people at Bowie that really helped shape your experience, and not to mention that it's affordability.
Absolutely.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Alicia. Now I'm going to keep you on hold, not on hold. I'm keep you on deck, and I want you to really give me some more details about your HBCU experiences and the opportunities you've gained from going to an HBCU. Ms. Alicia?
Yes, ma'am. Some of the experiences that I gained from attending Bowie State University, my practicum actually turned out to be my full-time employment once I graduated from Bowie State. and I started supervising that program as well. And after working with that particular agency for a couple of years, I was promoted to a national certified leadership facilitator. And I traveled, up the West Coast and East Coast and traveled and trained the administrators. I also partnered with 4 other women and became a president and CEO of an outpatient mental health clinic and a psychiatric rehabilitation program for 13 years.
Oh, wow. So your experience in school, working at the school, really kicked off your career that led you up and down the coast as a leader and training other leaders to really make a difference in their communities.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
Wow.
It's always good to see when someone takes what they have in front of them. I need a job. I'm in school. I need a job. So you work at the school, and then you translate that into something so much more. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Van, what about you? What about your experiences at school that led to opportunities for your future?
Well, I started out at Hampton they had they had 2 pre-college programs. One was for students that needed a little extra help getting their academics in line, and the other was the program that I went into was called the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. And what that was it allowed me to go in under a pre-biology program. So we actually took science courses, and we took a couple other courses during the summer, and we were paid a stipend, stayed on campus. Actually, you couldn't tell, and we were graduating, we were newly graduated students from high school, so you couldn't tell the difference between us and the freshmen coming in. And with that, it just catapulted me right into college life. I mean, that's where my GPA started. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. No, actually, it was a very good thing. We also got registered for our dormitories early. When it came to our introduction into school, it was such a easy transition that it was very helpful for our other students that were coming to school. And that's just led me to friends that I have like 30 years now. I mean, just everybody that I met then, I'm pretty much still in contact with now.
Okay, so you were able to take advantage of a program that not only put you in a position to be ready for college. You walked in, and even though you were newly graduates from high school, you were fitting in just fine because they prepped you for, and they also sounds like you got a stipend in order to get situated and make that transition even easier for you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Can't forget that stipend. Being a college student, that helped out quite a bit.
Oh, so that is definitely an opportunity. I would say if anyone has any type of an inkling of getting that, they should do all that they can to do. Could you give us a little bit more information about that particular program? I missed the name of it. Tell me the name again.
The name of the program was the Howard Hughes Medical Institute program. I'm not exactly sure if it's still in existence, although I do believe so because I've seen it at other schools. And what it is it's a program that gives you an initiation into the biological field. So I graduated with a degree in biology.
Awesome. Thank you so much for providing those extra details for us. Miss Danielle, what about you? Tell us about your experience at school that really led to opportunities for your future.
Yes, just as everyone else has also stated, the friends and the experiences that you have at an HBCU will last a lifetime. I was involved in a lot of different things as an undergraduate student. I played Division II tennis. My full 4 years at Bowie State University, I was able to gain scholarships. I was able to give other opportunities to other people as I was on the news reporting crew. I did so many different things. You have the opportunity to get involved in so many different things, and college is really what you make it. So definitely at an HBCU, when you're having those internships, especially at Bowie, our professors and our faculty were so experienced in their fields and their tenure. They definitely passed that information and that education along, and helped us with the different connections that we get jobs from, and do other work related experience. And then I kind of never left. I've been at Bowie State now as an employee for over 10 years, giving that same opportunity to the next generation. So I truly bleed black and gold at Bowie State.
You bleed black and gold. Okay, not mad at that at all. And it sounds like your relationships with the faculty was very important. You know, not only through internships when you can get those, but just building those relationships and learning from them. They're eager to give you that wisdom to teach you how to succeed. That was very impactful as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. Miss Jahada, just Miss Jahida, my apologies. Can you tell us about your experiences that shaped your
Totally fine.
career?
So at University of Maryland Eastern Shore, I had a lot of great experiences. Started off a little rocky, but after my freshman year and getting a very nice threat from my mother that if I didn't shape up, that I would be going to PG Community College, which there's nothing wrong with that. I got involved with a lot of organizations on campus. A lot of my close friends were a part of SGA, so I would assist with a lot of their events or programs they had going on. But in particular, two things: I became the manager of the men's basketball team. I also became the music manager of the radio station on campus called Hawk Radio. I was an intern in the athletic office after a while, and in the athletic training room. And each experience allowed me to kind of grow up and mature. I am now a photographer, and I kind of specialize in sports photography. Sports being my one true love, from watching Jordan pushed off in the Utah game 6 or 7. I've been enamored with basketball ever since. So having the opportunity to learn the ins and outs of athletics, and then also use my passion, which is photography, and kind of bring those two together, has now led me to what I do outside of my full-time job at the university I currently work at, and doing photography, hence the logo right there. And also a lot of my friends that I worked with in athletics office have become clients of mine because I've also shot their weddings. So going to the HBCUs that I've attended from University of Maryland Eastern Shore and Bowie State have not only allowed me to grow and have experiences, traveling to the MEAC, meeting some high-ranking officials, working with Red Bull and Nike, even Google for some projects, were all kind of stepping stones that I needed to take, and which led me to where I am today, being an entrepreneur and now assisting students at the STEM education program that I work at currently, giving them those kind of jewels and stuff that I learned the hard way growing up.
Wow, that's fantastic. So really having the experience of maybe not doing the best and having that threat placed upon you that, well, we're going to send you to PG. And like I said, nothing's wrong with PG, but it's not Eastern Shore. And
Sure wasn't.
how to navigate through that. So really immersing yourself more into the school, joining the SGA, becoming the manager of several different programs, really helped get your focus. But then it also led you to some wonderful connections that shaped you not shaped you, but put you into a position where you can have your own business doing something that you were passionate about. So blending that sports knowledge and that photography knowledge to make it your own.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. Mr. John, what about you? Could you share some of your experiences that shaped your career?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm currently a senior or supervisory special agent with the United States Secret Service, and I think my time at Hampton definitely prepared me for life. As far as experience, like I said before, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. but I was able to, my mother had me in parochial Catholic schools from the time I went to first grade pretty much to I graduated from high school. Most of those incidents, I was probably just one of maybe 4 or 5 Black kids in the class of 25 or 30. And when I got to high school, maybe a little bit but the same. It was probably a 70-30 split. Going to the HBCU allowed me to go to college a little less stressed. I was on equal footing. I attended school with people who knew what I went through. And I had instructors who knew what I would be going through. And they showed tough love. They'll knock you down, but they'll pick you back up and dust you off and send you on your way. And I think that prepared me for life. I was involved in Navy ROTC, did earn my commission in the Navy. And if it wasn't for my instructors knowing what I would be going through in life, I don't think I would be as prepared as I was, and definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to meet the obstacles that I would eventually meet.
Oh, very interesting. So really having that experience of having the faculty and staff having an insider knowledge, so to speak, of the things that you will be going through was more than impactful in your life and your career, and really helped you become prepared for life, which definitely you're going to need to be as a Secret Service. You can't you can't be doing such an important job being unsure, but really having them to shape your experience with that understanding was everything for you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Mr. Corey, what about you?
Just like all the others, Hampton prepared me for life in a unique one way. I feel more than just the education. I learned how to network with people, and that's very important because sometimes you can be in it. Like for instance, one networking story I have is that I needed like 9 credit hours to graduate, and I already had my job. So luckily, I always talk to the department secretary, and the department secretary to me is sometimes more important than the dean of the department because they always know what's going on and they help the dean take care of the little things. So she recommended a summer internship that not only paid me money for what I was doing, but also paid for 9 credit hours. So that was the reason why I graduated on time and was able to go to my next job. So, and also the job that I got was from a fellow Hampton alumni. He recommended me for it and I got it. And even though I technically still have it today, 20 some odd years later.
Wow, so you're talking about a connection for life, and one thing that I noticed that you said was really knowing who to talk to. So even though you knew to go to the advisor, speaking to the secretary proved to be more useful because they
Yes.
had those things that the higher ups they know more abstract, but the secretary knows all the nitty gritty and
Yes.
can help direct you to where you want to be. And lo and behold, you found this internship that one was recommended by a fellow alum. So those connections again being proven to be useful before you even become an alum. It's already there and present, and as evidence is something that you're still doing to this day.
Yes.
Oh, great, great, great. Mr. Corey, don't go anywhere. Thank you for sharing that. And I want you to now talk about some fun stuff. Everyone talks a little bit about their experience and their friends, that the connections that they made, but really walk me through what was campus life for you? What was that HBCU experience that you feel like you really couldn't have gotten from else places?
I really had the campus life because I lived on campus for all 4 years. I ate in the caf all 4 years. And you want to, and also like, when you're a college student, you're broke. So I had one friend that would cut my hair for $4. It wasn't the greatest. The lines weren't that straight, but my hair looked half decent, but me and him are still friends to this day. I didn't really party too much. I I did become an RA on campus for my last 2 years in Wilder Hall, and that was a good experience for me. You know, you got to interact with the students. They looked up to you, asked you different, you know, how to manage life on campus, and I really enjoyed that. Um, I went to a few parties here and there. We had parties in the we call them sweatbox jams in the old. This was before their new fancy student union, the old student union, and it was like the ones in the wintertime. You'd be partying there so hard that there were walls would sweat, but the walls were colder, and then the water would condensate on, and they had to put sawdust on the floor to help absorb all the moisture. So I had a lot of fun. And really the most important thing are the friends that you make, the lifelong friends. I've been in weddings of these friends. They've been in my wedding. Most of my groomsmen were all Hampton graduates, particularly computer science. And I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world.
Those lifelong friendships. And
Mhm.
I'm not gonna let you slide. You said y'all party so hard you made the wall sweat. So
Yeah, that is fact, not fiction.
that sounds like a good time. That sounds like a great time. Thank you so much for sharing, Corey.
Mhm.
Let's stick with the Hampton guys. And John, tell us about your experience.
See, first our Corey line, he did party. Don't let him fool y'all. It was funny. Corey talked about living in Wilder. Well, this is how dated I am. I remember when Wilder was built, and Governor Wilder came to commence it, and I was in Navy ROTC at the time. And we were the honor guard for his visit. So that's how far back that goes. Uh, Great experience. I don't even know what to say. We talk about life friends. Most of my inner circle right now are Hampton grads. One of my best friends is a Hampton graduate. I love him and trust him so much that he is my daughter's godfather. Um, so definitely a brotherhood there. I got nothing bad to say about the experience. Um, definitely worth the 4 years.
Definitely worth the 4 years. So it sounds like you're not just making friends, you're making family.
You make absolutely lifelong family. They are definitely family.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, John. Van, why don't you wrap up Hampton for us?
I can also attest to the sweatbox story. We're all akin to that over at the old student union. It was a great time. I mean, honestly, it was a cheap party. It was right on campus. It was safe. Music was off the hook. But you know, the other thing too is that, like I said, I'm from that area, but I met so many people from all across the United States. It's one of those things that I didn't expect to get right there from where I was. Because I mean, honestly, the Tidewater area, it's a small area, but you know, it's urban enough, but it's still a small area. But I've met people from Utah, Colorado, California, plenty of people from New York. You know, but the one thing I take away from there is that it's like you said, it's building families. I mean, you know, we're immersed in an environment that is pretty much completely African American. Although I do have the honor of one of the gentlemen that went to high school with me, white guy, went to Hampton on scholarship. I mean, so we're definitely diversified, but it's just a great experience. Just wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, just, you know, you get that dorm experience. I actually, even though I'm from the area, I lived in a dorm for just a year, and then I moved off campus, and you know, I got the commuter experience, and I ended up even riding my bicycle back and forth to campus. So it's a great all-around, life-changing weekend.
Life-changing stuff. You say nothing bad to say. Even though you abandoned campus life after a year, you got big time, got your own place, it sounds like. But that time in the campus, on campus was one of that left lasting impressions on you and lifelong friends. But I also heard you say that, you know, even though you were local and there was obviously a lot of local people, but there were also people representing all over our country. And that was a wonderful thing to be able to
Absolutely.
experience, meeting people from other places, even though you're at home.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for sharing, Van. And I gotta tell you, fellas, I really thought I was going to hear at least one of you mention campus food. Like, I know men like to eat, so I'm going to just assume that Hampton must not have had very good food because none of you mentioned it.
Some things are better left unsaid.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
I'm sure
fast
it's better
food.
now. They have a nice new cafeteria. But when we were there, we were dining in a historical monument, basically. Virginia Cleveland Hall is a registered historical building, and we were eating our food in there. And people, I think people still live in there. I don't know what they did with the cafeteria part, but yeah. So now yeah, and that's another thing you'll get at Hampton. Big is the H part, the historical part. You actually live in buildings that former slaves helped build. So it's a great experience. I hope the food has improved. So we'll I guess we could say that's maybe the only slightly negative part is the food wasn't that great. But now I hope it's a lot better. They have a nice big new cafeteria that's shiny and new, and they also have I know they have a Chick-fil-A on campus. They got a bunch of stuff. So I'm pretty sure if you don't like that, you can always hit Chick-fil-A.
It sounds like the school has evolved and got some new facilities, but you have the bragging rights of being able to say you got to dine in history.
Yes, that is true. For 4 years.
Love it. I love it. Okay. Let's shift over to our Bowie State ladies. And Danielle, could you tell us about your experience, your campus life experience, and what was that like for you?
Best times of my life. I lived on campus for 4 years, and you definitely learn a lot about yourself as well as your suite mates and your roommates when you're sharing small quarters with another person and multiple people sharing a bathroom. So you definitely grow a lot. You learn a lot. I also had the opportunity to travel because I was a part of the tennis team. So we traveled all up and down the East Coast. I got to meet a lot of people as well, and definitely lifelong memories. We have the Divine Nine on campus, so our on-campus experience was really an experience between our bands and our athletics and our Divine Nine. We had it all. We still do. And so anyone that chooses to go to Bowie State and live on campus, you're getting the full experience. The band waking you up on Saturdays as they're marching down to the field. So yeah, best time of my life.
Best time of your life. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Miss Alicia, what do you want to add to that?
Well, I definitely have to add that Bowie State University had the best food. It was delicious. I enjoyed going to football games. I enjoyed the step shows. And there was just an energy on campus where everyone felt like one big family. And I stayed on campus just 1 year. But that year that I was on campus, I was very focused. I went to class during the day and I worked at night. But again, the friendships that you gain and the people that you meet and the partnerships that you're able to connect with as a result of being there was just, it's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing. And Miss Jahida, you get the pleasure of, I want you to tell us about Bowie's campus life if you had that experience, but if not, definitely let us know what it was like on the Eastern Shore.
Well, I was an adult by the time I came to Bowie, so I didn't really get to indulge in campus life other than homecoming, of course, and going to working at a school that had a football team. So most of my young on-campus experiences were at UMES, which if you've ever been to Princess Anne, Maryland, you know there is but so much you can do. We are not, the closest thing we have is Ocean City, which is about an hour away from campus, depending on how fast you drive. So my experience, so I was a minor. I was 17 when I came on campus. I didn't turn 18 until December, which was finals week. So I was kind of limited in a lot of what I could do. All of my friends were older, so of course we partied. We have a similar campus party situation called Tall Parties, with an old gym that with a lot of condensation on the walls, the windows, and the floors as well. But the thing that I enjoyed the most is that we were close to Salisbury University. So I often partied on that campus to the point where people thought I went to Salisbury, which was always a fun story when people hear me talk about UMES now, because they were convinced I didn't even go to that school. But after, again, freshman year, I enjoyed it a little too much that I got my little threat from my mom, who, after that experience, I was able to be a manager of the men's basketball team, as I mentioned before, and I got to travel. So I missed a lot of things on campus, but I got to meet Blake Griffin when UMES played Oklahoma, and we got demolished, but it was still a great experience. Went to schools like FAMU, went to Hampton, so very beautiful campus as well. Got to enjoy some of their campus life as well. Old Dominion, Norfolk, so many of the NEAC schools and just schools along the East Coast in general. So in that aspect, I got to travel for free. I got paid to pick up jerseys and rebound basketballs and shoot around, which was a great experience. Also working in the radio station, got to do some really dope interviews with some ESPN legends. So my experience isn't typical like everyone else because I was mostly engaged in athletics, but a lot of my close friends either played on a volleyball team, basketball team, were part of the radio station, and people I still talk to, travel when outside was open with, and get a lot of opportunities to this day because of those experiences and those opportunities.
So you really took full advantage of your campus experience and experienced a lot of other campuses as well. You said, I'm traveling, I'm going to do it all. And it's really because of the opportunities that you were afforded by being on the management of the team and also with the radio. And so your experience for you, it wasn't just the party. And although you made those walls sweat as well, I heard that. I'm not going to just let it slide. I heard that.
Unlike some of the Hampton folks, I don't think social media was very popular then. So getting some of those reminders on Facebook is always interesting.
Flash from the past. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. But I don't want you to go anywhere. Keep your camera on. I mean your mic on. And then so this last question is kind of a big question. Okay, so I want you to think about, and this is something I want you to direct directly to the students that are going to be watching this, thinking about your experience on campus and how it was when you first started. You know, it's a new experience. You're just getting there and you're trying to figure out life. You're trying to figure out how to balance your school and also how to have fun as well. So how did you manage to blend all of that and that shaped you to the person that you are now? So that's a big question. So I'm gonna say it again. So thinking of your experience when you were a freshman, when you first started out, and what our students that are going to be watching, what they want to know is, how did you balance that life? How did you have your full experience while also staying on top of your work? And how did that as a whole shape you as a person?
So I'm kicking off with me, I'm saying?
You got it.
Family support was very key for me. I'm an only child. My mother only took a couple courses in college, and then she had me. Coming from a West Indian background as well, education is very important to our family in general. So when I wasn't doing as well as my mother knew I was capable of doing my freshman year, and her having to politely tell me that I can just come home and she can save her money, That allowed me to figure out, okay, what am I really here to do? What are my goals? So I had to write down some goals. At the time, I wanted to be an agent for athletes, and then I wanted to understand how the body worked. So when I'm trying to negotiate contracts, if injuries or anything came up, I can better assist them, or be an athletic trainer, whichever one. I looked at my curriculum and I had to hunker down. I had to figure out, okay, the best advice I got was from a friend. So you studied and then you partied, and then after you come back from the party, you study, and then you take a nap and you go to class. You study while you're in class for whatever major exams you have going on. And those things kind of helped me have a balance of still being young and having fun, but also understanding when I graduate here, I know there's going to be a life after this, and I need to be as prepared as possible for that. Also, being a manager of the men's basketball team again, and being a music manager for the radio station, I had a level of responsibility. I wasn't on the same level as a lot of the on-air personalities or even the athletes. I was sometimes the middle person between the coaches and some of the administrative staff. I was responsible with keys. I was responsible with thousands of dollars of equipment, which when you have that level of responsibility, you have to act accordingly. And you can't do a lot of reckless things that you may see some of your classmates doing or some of your friends doing. Or you can't go to that party that night because you have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to pack the bus for a road trip. So those things and those experiences and those responsibilities kind of helped refocus me after my freshman year. Also, again, just trying to be as prepared as possible for adulthood, and not wanting to when you're given that level of responsibility, you don't want to let people down. And I didn't want to let the adults that entrusted me down. So that was kind of how I came. I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
No, I was repeating what you said. You said you didn't want to let them down.
I didn't want to let them down. As being an only child, hearing your parent be disappointed in you is a very traumatic experience. So I didn't want to let my mom down, and I didn't want to let the adults who trusted me down.
Oh, so great. So really having that lesson of almost not making the best choices forced you to say, okay, let me sit down and focus. And then you really prioritized what you were there for. You looked at it and you took it seriously. And then again, with those experiences that you had with being the manager of the basketball team and of the music station, those responsibilities also forced you to have a level of maturity that absolutely shaped you moving forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Shahada, for sharing that with us. I think that's very great advice. Mr. Williams, Corey Williams, what about you? How can you what advice do you have to share?
One advice I have to share, like some of the other Hampton graduates, I did attend pre-college. That was very important socially and academically because number one, you got ahead in your classes and it can make freshman year a lot less light. Number two, when freshman year starts, people were wondering, like people that didn't even know about the program got on campus and were wondering how I knew everybody, basically, because they're starting from scratch. You already have like a social network. So freshman year was pretty great for me, and pre-college was one of the things that helped that happen. But it kind of puts you into a false sense of the rest of college is going to be that easy and you don't have to work as hard because you've already completed some of your classes, and then don't let sophomore year hit you hard. So you got to find a balance between extracurricular activities and doing your actual schoolwork. So I was in the choir freshman year and I had to quit because it was getting demanding and I couldn't really at the time balance my time between the two. So that was one of the important things I learned.
So really learning how to balance your schedule was key for you, even though you had that leg up with the pre-college, which sounds like a great thing if you have the opportunity to go to the school maybe in the summertime prior to starting
Yes.
your freshman year. Sounds like it makes a world of difference. We're really not getting complacent with that as either, and making sure that you're being realistic about what you can balance, and it being okay if you have to let some things go so that you can focus on the academics.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Corey. Miss Danielle, what about you? What advice can you share?
So my first thing that I would share, that I share always with our incoming class, is that time management is very important. Most of our first generation students that are coming out of fresh out of high school are coming to an environment where prior their parents are telling them what to do, how to do, where they can go, where they can't go, and all of that. And then you're coming into a college where you're going to class, 2 and 3 times a week, and you have all of this free time on your hands. So time management is very important when you're going not just to an HBCU, but any school, because yes, you need to make time for your actual classes and your studies and your papers, but also making sure that you do give yourself a little bit of time to party, enjoy your friends, or whatever it is that you're interested in, but also investing in yourself with finding out what you're interested in, your passions, because once again, you have all of this free time on your hands, so you don't want to necessarily waste it. And then my second thing would be definitely prioritize and deadlines, because it's great to have all of these things with your classes, but there could be other administrative things like financial aid and other all these other things that it takes for you to go to school. And if you're not on top of that, then that could affect you too. So definitely deadlines like scholarships, and so you have the students also have a responsibility to help go to school and to help get good grades, so that it's not such a daunting task on, the parents too.
So that time management and learning how to set priorities sounds like it was very important for you to make it through school, and I would imagine that that's and has helped you in your career as well.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think Miss Jahida was saying much of the same. I remember her saying, when it comes to making your priorities, she got the advice of study, party, study, nap, class, study some more. So I'm hearing a nice theme here with when it comes to planning out your schedule and being making sure that your priorities are where it needs to be. Thank you so much for adding to that, Miss Danielle. Mr. Van, how can you add to this conversation? What advice do you have?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on Danielle and Jahida as far as the time management piece, because that is extremely important. And I have the unique experience because I was a science major. So when you think science major in college, think of being a scientist, because for every science class that you have a lab also, and that's 3 hours of class time as well. So make sure you plan for that. Get yourself a support system early. Remember that you have help, because those classes are tough. And form your study groups early. I mean, get everybody's number in class. I didn't learn that lesson till later, but everybody is there to help you out, and lean on them for your help, because it's right there. Everybody has the same question. They may have a different question. You have a different part of the puzzle that somebody else may not have, and vice versa. But by all means, make sure you lean on your support system and establish it early, because it will serve you all throughout your college life.
That support system sounds very, very important and helping you reach your goals. And I like the idea of, study groups, finding your study groups early on, getting everyone's phone number and really utilizing each other. Everyone's there to help and support each other. So take advantage.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing, John. And Miss Alicia, how can you bring this home for us?
Well, HBCU, they're going to embody the spirit of excellence. And when I was at Bowie State University, there were banners and signs everywhere that just said excellence. And so that was ingrained in your mind wherever you went. And because of that, you'll develop a strong work ethic. And the main thing that I remember, especially my junior and senior year, the teachers invested in my success and they prepare you for the workforce. They remind you that it is very competitive out here and they will give you a roadmap to success. You just have to follow them, listen to them, take the wisdom, and have the determination to be successful, and you will.
Listen to your teachers. That's what I heard, and and I think that's a lifelong lesson, a valuable lesson, quite frankly, when you have people that are in your life that is helping to guide you, support you, and prepare you for your success. You want to be listening to those people. You want to take advantage of those people. When you see signs that's reminding you of your excellence or your worth, to not just, take them as a passing thing, but really embody it, embrace it, and know that that's there for you as a reminder of what you can be or what you already are, and you're striving to bring out to its full potential. Thank you so much, Ms. Alicia, for sharing that with us. And thank you all. This was a great conversation. I think you all have shared a lot of different things with our students that is going to be helpful, from how you decide to go where you're going to go. Sometimes it's something that you've always wanted to do. Sometimes you got to listen to mom, who had some great advice that maybe you weren't ready to listen to at first, but it can work out in the end there. And when you're there, you're making family, friends for life. I'm hearing a lot of love and support from your peer group, but also from the faculty as well. Everyone is really there to help guide you and position you for your future. And if you listen to all that, you are serious about your time management and making sure that your priorities are what they need to be, which of course is your education, then you can succeed. And these experiences are going to really shape you and prepare you for your future. So thank you all so very much for really painting that picture for us. And again, thank you. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation.